you ready for this?
Oh, heck yeah.
Here's something you never get to do, actually. How cool is that?
We're at Mach 1.01, and that took 33 seconds.
One of your rockets could take out Vegas, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Incredible.
10 News presents the Miramar Air Show, sponsored by Coleman University.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the largest military air show of its kind. It is great to be back here at Miramar after a year off, and we're going to take you straight to all the fun, including a ride in the sky.
Boy, was that fun. An incredible experience. I got to go up with the one and only Patriots jet team.
In case of any sort of emergency.
My journey with the Patriots jet team started with a safety briefing. I got suited up, helmet on, and climbed in jet number 3.
All right, Tika, you ready for this?
Oh, heck yeah.
Good.
I've been waiting all my life for this. Are you kidding me? My pilot, Troy Myers, whose call sign is Curly, decided to throw in some pilot humor.
I've read the directions, and I think I've got it down. I wish I had photographic memory.
Zippy, my flight crew chief, got me locked and loaded. I'm so excited. The jet canopy came down. The jets were fired up, and it was time to roll out. One by one, each jet headed out to the runway. After a short taxi, it was go time.
One roll now.
I instantly turned into a little girl, and away we went. Just seconds into it, I knew this was going to be the ride of a lifetime. Take a look at this deep bank. This thrill seeker was in heaven. In the air, I was so in love with the aerial view, I couldn't help but take dozens of pictures. The Pacific Ocean looked even more majestic thousands of feet above it. Despite the jet's powerful roar and an adrenaline rush like I have never felt before, I felt a beautiful sense of peace and gratitude. Back on the ground.
Nice job!
That was awesome. Incredible. It was better than I even imagined. Really? Yes.
She enjoyed the heck out of it.
And Steve, that was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
You look like a kid in a candy store. Some phenomenal pictures, I would imagine.
I definitely felt like a little girl riding my first roller coaster and wanting to go back on it again.
And here are some of the new things happening this year.
New this year, it's the first time that the F-35 Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter will be on display here at the Miramar Air Show. This is the future of Marine Corps aviation, so we're very excited to show it off to the public.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty safe right now. That's because right behind me is the F-35. This is an incredible piece of equipment. We've got Major Mike O'Brien, call sign Snooky, one of the pilots of this plane, to talk a little bit more about this. This is a pretty special piece of equipment, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's obviously one of the newest aircraft that's out there in the Marine Corps especially, and overall in the U.S. military and really in the world.
Tell us about the capability of this plane.
So it can do a lot of things up and above that of the Hornet. The Harrier it has a lot more capability to see a lot more out there on the battlefield, essentially. From visuals to taking a look inside in the cockpit. We have targeting pods that are really designed to take a close look at what you're trying to go after and trying to bomb out there. And in the air-to-air arena as well, it obviously can minimize its own signature, and that's one of the things that makes it stealth.
Just in layman's terms, the range, the speed, what this thing can do. We're
somewhat limited right now with our flight clearances, but I can tell you just when I bring the throttle up with my left hand and select the afterburner, the difference between that and from a Hornet to the F-35 is incredible. It just jolts you forward in your seat, even more so than what you'll see out here with the Hornets when the Blue Angels fly. So now we can only do that for a few seconds here before we reach a certain airspeed, and then we'll get in trouble. But just that initial jolt is pretty incredible. So right now what we're doing as a squadron, we're doing all the initial qualifications right now to get to that level, whether it be air-to-air or air-to-ground. Next year the envelope will open up, if you will, where we'll be able to drop ordnance both air-to-air and air-to-ground. And at that point we're going to declare our initial operational capability and be able to deploy overseas to the Mid-East. And some of the current affairs that you see out there in the Middle East might be they will be good mission sets for the F-35.
So in other words, Snooki, you're the right stuff. You're pushing the envelope. This is it.
I won't go that far, but I mean, you said it. So you've got voice recognition in there too. So just to be flying something with today's technology, 2010s technology, Vice, you know, the Hornets. Again, I don't want to say too much about them, but like honestly, 1980s, 1990s technology. So that technological leap was pretty incredible. You know, it's awesome to be a part of.
And we've got a lot more ahead, more behind the scenes at the air show.
There's also an elite group called MAGTAP. They are the best of the best when it comes to military ground support. Steve had a chance to go behind the scenes with that group.
We're in the area called MAGTAP, Marine Air Ground Station Task Force here. This is an incredible area that you can come and tour everything and see what's going on. We're with Staff Sergeant Diaz right now. Tell us about some of the equipment that's in this area.
How you doing, sir? Thank you for this introduction. This is the M777 howitzer. We have the section right here displayed. So all we're doing is pretty much displaying what our abilities are for indirect and direct fire missions.
Is this something that's out in the field right now?
Yes, sir. Currently it is in all the East Coast and the West Coast, and all the units, artillery units, they all have the M777, so as well as the 120mm mortar system.
This is all about combat support here, so I would imagine this is pretty cool for kids to get on, climb around, and look at different things, right?
Yes, sir. We're going to give you a quick demonstration what every cannoneer does on the weapon system. So
you guys go to it.
Thanks, sir. Fire mission!
Fire mission! Battery adjust, number 3, 1 round. 3, 1 round. Special instructions, at my command. At my command. Deflection, shell HE. HE. Lot, Alpha Lima. Lima.
Deflection on the left side, we see the Marine Corporal De Los Santos. He's putting in the deflection. You also have the A gunner on the right side. He's putting the quadrant, which is up and down. Now you have your ammo team. They have prepared the round. They're loading the round in. The ammo team, as they load it up, deflection quadrant are being reversed, up and down, left and right. Load the round, load the charge, put the charge. They're going to close the breach. Let's close the breach. The section chief on the left, Popodiki, he's verifying the deflection, which is left and right. Once he verifies it, everything is good. He's checking the bubbles. Everything is set. It goes all the way to the A gunner side, up and down. He's checking the quadrant. Quadrant is set. He's ready. Stand by. See if FCC or Fire Direction Control Center has any special instructions. And they shoot. Boom. Round goes off.
That was cool. So these guys, this is what they do on a daily basis. This is their job for that support.
Daily basis, that's what they do, sir. So,
best of the best.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to my new truck. We call this the HIMARS. Staff Sergeant Dick is here with us. Tell us, what does the HIMARS mean?
High mobility rocket artillery system.
Tell us like what this type of vehicle would do if over in Afghanistan, if needed to be called into combat.
It would get a fire mission. They would drive out to an area. They would put the launcher on the direction for the rocket to go off, and they would process that mission in here, and they would shoot that rocket. As soon as they shot that rocket, they would lock down the LM, and then they would turn around and come right back.
I want to give our viewers some kind of perspective on this. I understand here we are at NCAS Miramar right now. One of your rockets could take out Vegas, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's a great distance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unbelievable. This is a powerful piece of equipment.
Yes, sir. Very.
And your battery's coming back on Sunday.
Yes, sir. This weekend.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, coming up, we're going to take you inside the cockpit of the Blue Angels.
You can feel the vibration, you can see the smoke.
And we've got a lot more ahead, more behind the scenes at the air show.
You're watching 10 News Presents the Miramar Air Show, sponsored by Coleman University.
All right, here's something that you don't get to do all the time. Here's something you never get to do, actually. We're going to take you out here on the tarmac right now for the air show. This is a place that is restricted just for the people, the Marines here with NCAS Miramar. Take a look at that. How cool is that? right here on the flight line right now. These are the announcers that you can see just right over here on my shoulder. He's got a little iPad and he's just talking about what's going on. He knows all the pilots that are out here, just giving information. So that's the voice that you hear from the speakers as you're coming here to the air show.
If they made it all the way to the advanced trainer that you see here today.
Tell me about meeting some of these pilots. I mean, these are pretty incredible individuals, aren't they?
They are, and some of them are very humble about it too. Most of them are, because it can be a very dangerous sport. When you're doing aerobatics, when you're flying, you put as much risk as you want into it, and risk and sometimes is altitude, and a lot of times these performers trying to do a show right in front of everybody, are dropping it down where we don't have any of that reserve anymore. So everybody's really focused, and it's really interesting when you're talking to people and you can tell when their performance is coming up, because they kind of might separate from the crowd a little bit and start to focus and rehearse and kind of get into that right frame of mind so they can do a safe, good show.
But tell me, first of all, what's your job here on the flight line?
I represent the administrator for the FAA. I am the inspector in charge that oversees the waiver that's been issued for this particular event.
And this is all about safety as far as you're concerned?
Correct. That everything is properly done in order to protect the general public who's obviously watching something that doesn't happen on a regular basis in front of a general populace like this.
A big part of the air show is introducing the public to new military technology.
And Steve, I had a chance to talk to a couple of pilots who showed us some unbelievable equipment. One was an unmanned aircraft. All right, wait till you see this new gadget. This is a good one. This is the Marine's new toy. Captain Michael Manna is joining us now to explain it.
So this in front of us is the RQ-21 Blackjack. It is the latest Marine Corps unmanned aircraft that we've just recently purchased.
Okay, what does it do and when do you send it up?
So primarily it has an ISR mission for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. And we do that primarily through the pod, which is in the front, which is our camera. We have our day camera and our night camera all together.
And what do you use this for? What kind of reconnaissance? Is it just anything that the military does?
Typically we're going to be in support of the ground commander, so it's whatever the ground commander is looking for. That could be staring at a house to get a pattern of life, or that could be actively following an individual on the ground, trying to figure out where they're going, who they're talking to.
Okay, so how many people control this thing?
2 people control this aircraft. There'll be someone who's in charge of flying the aircraft itself, and then there'll be a payload operator as well, and they both sit together. They operate out of the same station.
And you have a cord in your hand. Tell me about how that works.
Yeah, so this cord I have here for demonstration purposes. The aircraft launches off of a catapult, which is onto a trailer. So you see it doesn't have any wheels on it, so in order for us to recover, we use a skyhook system. So a rope will be suspended in the air, and the aircraft will fly into it. It'll hit the leading edge, and it'll begin sliding down until it reaches the wingtip where it gets captured. At that point, the aircraft will cut its engine and stop on the rope, and we'll go ahead and pull it down and load it back onto this cart at the end of the mission.
Thank you so much, Captain Manna.
Thank you.
Now let's watch the left thumb of the pilot pulling back, click by click by click as it transitions.
And I also had a chance to talk to the pilot of an Osprey. Major Andy Schilling is the pilot of this beautiful aircraft behind me. Tell me the name of it, and is it a chopper or is it an airplane?
Well, it's an MV-22 Osprey, and it's really both. It can take off and land like a helicopter, but then it can rotate the nacelles down, which you see right here. It can rotate them down, and then it can fly like an airplane.
Tell me a little bit about these.
All right, so what we wanted was to be able to transport the aircraft, or the Marines, just like we would in a normal helicopter, but go farther, faster. And that's really what this aircraft gives us. So the big transformative technology is this nacelle. So it starts out vertical, which allows you to take off and land just like a helicopter. It can do everything a helicopter can do, including externalizing loads underneath it. But then you can rotate those nacelles down and fly as fast and as far as an airplane.
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about the cockpit. What makes it unique?
Well, it's a fully modern cockpit, so it's got all-glass cockpit, modern avionics, but also it had to make some special accommodations in order to be able to do that tilt rotor thing by rotating those rotors down. And so there's a thrust control lever, but it does different things. If you're a helicopter, that's going to change your altitude. If you're an airplane, that's going to change your airspeed. And then you've got a thumb wheel where you're actually physically controlling where those nacelles are.
Incredible. So this is probably the coolest part for me. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, this is a refueling probe, and they've been common on jet aircraft for a long time. But what really makes it unique on this aircraft is not only do we increase the range by being able to fly as an airplane, which makes the aircraft more fuel efficient, but the fact that we can refuel in flight basically gives us an infinite distance that we can travel.
Major Andy Schilling, an amazing aircraft. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's an honor.
The air show is a huge 3-day event, and all the money goes back to help Marines.
All the money raised from the air show goes into our Marine and Family program, so it goes back to the Marines and sailors here and their families to ensure that they have the best quality of life possible. For example, the Single Marine program. It's a program in place to let all the Marines and sailors get opportunities to different sporting events, different TV shows, the movie theater, special rates to movies there, different things like that that just kind of can enhance their quality of life while they're in the service. So the air show is our one opportunity of the year that we can invite the San Diego community out, see what we do every day, show off our Marines and sailors and our aircraft, and it's just our chance to thank the community for their support every year.
And we've got a lot more ahead, more behind the scenes at the air show.
You're watching 10 News Presents the Miramar Air Show, sponsored by Coleman University.
For the first time in any air show this year, that monstrous plane known as Fat Albert is making its first appearance.
Steve, it is a big one. I get a chance to ride with Fat Albert, which is a support plane to the Blue Angels.
The Fat Albert Parade Pass.
Fat Albert is a beast. 10 News was the only station that rode in the cargo plane that serves as a support to the elite Blue Angels. I was fortunate enough to land a seat in the cockpit with this talented crew.
I'm in the cockpit. It's a bumpy ride already, and we're about to take off.
Just 5 seconds in, the pilot pulled a fast one, pulling some serious negative G's. Sending this reporter and the crew into the ceiling. The shiny blue and yellow plane has been part of the Blue Angels team since the 1970s and is popular in air shows around the country. A few months ago, a bird collided with the C-130, taking it out of commission.
It just hit it perfect, so it cracked the metal, and we had to get the metal repaired.
Fat Albert was fixed just in time for the Miramar Air Show, the biggest military show in the nation, and considered the Super Bowl of air shows.
We're back in the game. We couldn't think of a better show site to do it at.
The Blue Angels Fat Albert program is full of rich traditions that draw hundreds of thousands of people to the Miramar Air Show every year.
Blues are great. It's been a while, but one of the air show favorites, the Blue Angels, are back this year.
They are a big fan favorite. Our 10 News reporter Candace Crone spoke to one of those pilots.
This is a view only the best pilots get to experience in the air.
It's quite exhilarating.
Maneuvers like this are why thousands of people come out to the annual MCAS Miramar Air Show to see the Blue Angels perform.
It's special because I used to be in the crowd, and you realize how special it is to watch it and to be able to do it. You realize what a privilege it is to have this opportunity.
This weekend's air show is the Blue Angels' first performance at Miramar since 2012. Last year, the event was canceled due to the government shutdown. Commander Tom Frosch, who's the flight leader, says although they're excited to be back this year, performing at Miramar has a greater meaning to them.
To come to Miramar is really special because this is where our brothers and sisters are from the fleet. And we take a lot of pride in representing them. And
this familiar Delta formation and barrel rolls wouldn't be possible without all 130 members of the team, including Petty Officer First Class Edwin Samaniego, who's from Chula Vista. While he takes great pride in fixing electrical issues and making sure the aircrafts are safe, he says no feeling compares to seeing the crowd excited for the Blue Angels.
There's a couple maneuvers that the aircraft perform, and some of the kids usually don't expect it. And when it comes, their whole face just... It's pretty exciting.
All 6 F-18s, along with Fat Albert, not only make for an impressive show, but the Blue Angels say the aircrafts educate spectators on the strength of America's military.
It's a great way for the American people and the taxpayer to see up close and personal how powerful our military is.
Candace Crone, 10 News.
It doesn't happen very often, but every now and then the Blue Angels will take a member of the media up with them to experience the ride.
10 News anchor Kimberly Hunt got a chance to do just that a few years ago. Here is a part of her experience.
On takeoff, I instantly had an understanding of the power of our armed forces in flight.
Here we go, ready, hit it!
We pulled 6 Gs as I stared straight into the heavens for what seemed like an eternity.
We are going to be pulling about 6 Gs.
Lieutenant Christian Simonson put me through one maneuver after another. Some had names like the Omen. We rolled straight up and looped straight down with tight turns and flips that were so sharp that I couldn't tell the ocean from the sky.
I didn't think anything could do that. Oh my gosh.
After pulling moves that ranged between 4.6 and 6 Gs in our high-performance moves, the pilot showed me how fast the jet can break the speed of sound.
We're at Mach 1.01, and that took 33 seconds.
This is when I realized the physical demand on these pilots, every flight, every day, in air shows or in war. The requirement is unlike any other stress to your body.
Whoa!
And just to have had the experience in the beautiful and peaceful skies of San Diego is something I will never forget.
You know, one of the great things about the Miramar Air Show is that just about everybody can enjoy it. There's something here for every age group.
So much fun. We are so privileged to have this right in our own backyard. And we're so glad you could join us for this behind-the-scenes look at the Miramar Air Show.
But have I seen a UFO that you're probably alluding to? No, I haven't. Great question.
Right in the middle of shooting, we saw this. Steve, check this out.
That is cool. The air show is a huge 3-day event. That was cool. Wow. I gotta get one of those.
Thank you for watching 10 News Presents the Miramar Air Show, sponsored by Coleman University.